Okay, good to go.
Great. Thanks, Caitlin.
Of course.
Um, okay, so welcome everyone to the December meeting of the Montgomery County Food Policy Council. Thanks, folks, for being here this morning. It's an exciting meeting. We have one new member of our leadership team here with us, Dr. Vernon Ross. Thanks so much. I wasn't able to let Dr. Ross know until yesterday around 4:30, and then was still able to join us this morning. So. Um, yeah, let me share the agenda quickly, and then we'll do our introductions and kind of get into things from there. But here we go. So I'll start with our welcome and intros, and then we'll do public comment, approval of our November meeting minutes, some working group updates, a few other updates. I want to debrief from our general membership meeting, which was just last week, and then talk about some new committees that we are in executive committee. We had talked about setting these up and wanted to discuss that here with the full group here. And yeah, and then do some announcements and wrap up. So that's what we have in store for today. I'm going to stop my screen share there. But yeah, I wanted to start with some introductions. If folks could, introduce themselves and our. So we tried this question at the general membership meeting and didn't get a lot of response, but it was, at the end of the meeting. So question for today is a highlight from the year, from 2025. Can be a personal highlight, a professional highlight, anything that it's the time to be reflecting on the year. So, Bree, can I put you on the spot to kick us off?
You can always put me on the spot, Sam.
Okay.
That's the standing offer. Uh, but right then my phone rang. So hi, Vernon, it's so nice to meet you. So I'm Dr. Bree Berry. I am an assistant professor of environment and sustainability at Ursinus College, and I teach and think a lot about food systems, including like food production, food access. So who gets food and what kinds of food do they get? And then what do we do with all the food that we don't eat? So I think a lot about food waste. Um, and I am, let's see, a highlight from this year. Oh, I'm a member, what do we call it? The executive committee? I'm a member of the executive committee. It feels like a club that we get to go to at the airport. Um, so a highlight from this year is, you know what, related to this group, I worked with students for the last 2.5 years, and we finally finished our work on food insecurity at Ursinus College, and we produced a really, really good report based on some fantastic research from the students that documents the extent of our food insecurity problem on campus. And so while it's not uplifting, the numbers are pretty depressing. It feels really, really good to at least know the size of our problem and the ways people are experiencing it. So that was a real triumph for me this year, was getting that wrapped up. Can I pass it to someone? Okay. Vernon, you're next on my screen. Would you like to go next?
Absolutely. So, Vernon Ross, and I serve as the pastor and founder of Bethel Community Church of Pottstown. Um, I spent 28 years in the aerospace defense industry with GE Aerospace and Lockheed Martin. And I would say the highlight for me this year is my mother celebrating 94 years, and she is still driving and traveling, and she is flying to Pennsylvania tomorrow to celebrate Christmas here.
That's awesome.
Can't believe it.
Wonderful.
94, and she just had her driver's license renewed for another 4 years.
That's awesome.
That is great. That is great. Thanks for sharing. Anne, do you want to go next?
Sure. I am Ann Levitt-Gruberger. I am the manager of the county planning section at the Montgomery County Planning Commission. So I am a colleague of Sam's, I guess. Vernon, I don't know if I'm going to be able to top your highlight. I was going to give a professional highlight and a personal highlight, and I'll make them quick. The other day, it was really cold, but the county headed out to the Sitco Tree Farm in Lower Pottsgrove to celebrate the preservation of the 200th preserved farm under the county's farmland preservation program. I do a lot of different things professionally at the Planning Commission, but one of the things I do is help oversee our farmland preservation program. So that was nice. I'll be honest, it was very cold, but this family has been farming this property for 4 generations, and it was a very uh, emotionally moving event to see these people so excited about preserving their farm forever. So that was great. Um, Personally, I'm hoping that this weekend becomes my personal highlight of the year. Something that maybe some of you know about me is that I love going to concerts, and I love, in particular, this band called Yola Tango. And each year they perform concerts on every night of Hanukkah. But it's in New York City, and obviously I am not in New York City. But tomorrow night I am headed up to New York to see their 7th night of Hanukkah concert, and I hope that it's amazing. They're usually pretty amazing, so I am looking forward to having a good time. That's it. That's what I got. Oh, I got to call on someone. Juliana, you get to go next because you're late and you don't know what we're doing, but you're sharing a highlight of 2025 as our icebreaker. And introduce yourself because we got Vernon Ross joining us today. He is the newest member of our leadership team.
Oh, nice. Welcome. Sorry I'm late. Today we have our team training, so I'm just gonna be in and out. Yeah. So I'm Juliana, work with the Food Trust. I'm a senior manager with the Farm to School team. A highlight of 2025. I don't know. I think we survived 2025 with everything that's happening. I think that that's all I can think about this right now. So yeah, I think we survived. We made it. And please come 2026. Was I the last one? No.
But you don't know
Yeah.
who has gone. Yeah,
Right,
it's
right.
tough for
Yeah,
you.
maybe I can help you out here, Juliana. Shannon, do you
Ah,
want to jump in and go
wait.
next?
Sure. It's really nice thinking through all my highlights of 2025. I think they're probably pretty boring for other people, but good, good for me. I think one of the highlights of 2025 was I think there were things that I felt pessimistic about that just like hope sort of won. Our organization, Montgomery Hunger Network, we were able to provide more food this year, and I knew we were going to try, but I didn't know that we were going to succeed. And just the way the community has turned out in challenging times and the incredible outpouring of compassion and support for food pantries all across Montgomery County has just been definitely a highlight for me. And I will pass to Jennifer.
Well, thank you, Shannon. And I'm Jenny Butler. I am with the Montgomery County Workforce Development Board. I serve as executive director. I am also deputy director for workforce development for the Commerce Department. So my focus obviously is on meeting the needs of our employers and career seekers across all industries in Montgomery County. Yeah, 2025. Huh. From a workforce development perspective, there have been more lows than highs in terms of like federal funding, federal changes that impact our workforce system, changes that impact our career seekers in Montgomery County, and from multiple levels. So, the fact that we have continued to serve individuals through some changing times, to me is a highlight. We did have our annual multi-industry career fair at the Greater Philly Expo Center in October. That's always a big highlight for us. as a team. We had over 1,100 students from across Montgomery County come out to learn about careers. And we will have the funding, thanks to our county budget, not other funding, but we will have the funding to hold a second Careers of Tomorrow event in the spring, and that event is going to focus specifically on STEM and ag careers. Still trying to figure out how we're going to spin that in a cute way, like what we're going to call it and all that, but we're fine tuning that. So if anyone is interested in helping us with that planning, that's something we're excited about. And on a personal note, probably because I was feeling like I needed to do more, I rescued a third dog, so now I'm a 3-dog household. And I am home today, and that is why my camera is off, because trying to keep them at bay. And Carla, I see your face. Or maybe not.
No, I'm here. I'm sorry. I couldn't, my camera's not working. I was trying to get it to work and then get off mute at the same time, but here we are. Um, Good morning, everyone. Happy
Morning.
Friday. It's warm, but it's rainy. My name is Carla Clanigan, and I'm the Deputy Chief Program Officer here at Share Food Program. I always say the long title. It just means that I'm responsible for all of our programming that's happening at Share across several counties. My role here in Montgomery County is to oversee the government contract with the county. We're the lead agency here in Montgomery County, and we serve over 130 partners within our county alone. Um, a highlight for this year, I think, is well, in relation to the work that's being done at Share, it is it was so super exciting to get out of the Human Service Center building. No shade, Sam. But we were just happy to have our own space and be in our warehouse, and that has been amazing. The amount of work that we've been able to accomplish just being in, some quiet space and be able to be on meetings at the same time without having to stay muted has been awesome. Um, and it's been amazing to see the amount of partnerships we have created and to see the warehouse and food moving in and out already before we're like officially bringing in some of the food for the partners. There's already a lot happening at the warehouse. So that has been really exciting for us and the team. And we look forward to 2026 to keep it going and bigger. And I will pass it over to Shanita.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Sunita Fields. I am a community health educator in the Office of Public Health with SAM. So with my role, I just go out and I educate people in the community from kids all the way up to adults on various health topics, and just like prevention, whether it's injury prevention or chronic disease prevention. As far as a highlight, I'm gonna go all the way back to January. It was the first highlight of the year. I hit 5 years of being an employee with the county, and that felt really good. So for those of you who don't know, once you hit 5 years, you get vested, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm still trying to understand it. But I'm vested. I'm getting some kind of pension or something with the county at this point. And I got an additional week of vacation hitting my 5 years. And it just felt really good to hit that milestone because back in college, this was my dream job. I said I want to work at Montgomery County Office of Public Health. And I've been here for 5 years. So it feels really amazing to have hit that milestone. And I'm going to pass it over to Debbie. And I apologize if I mispronounced that.
No problem. Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Davy Ramkasoon. I am the Chief Sustainability Officer in Montgomery County, and I'm on the opposite end of Shanita. My highlight for the year is starting this job in August. I'm really thrilled to be part of the Montco team, and I'm transitioning from being the executive director of the Sustainable Business Network of Greater Philadelphia, and just really thrilled to be able to bring an economic development perspective to the sustainability work that we do in the county. Um, and I don't know if there's anybody else that hasn't gone. Sam, do you see anyone else?
No, I think yeah, we got everyone. Thanks everyone for sharing. It's nice to definitely as Juliana and Jenny mentioned, kind of 2025 was a tough year, but it's nice to be able to lift up and celebrate some of the uh, you know 94-year-old birthdays, 5-year work anniversaries, and other accomplishments, things that did happen this year. So thanks everyone for sharing. Um, all right. Oh, I guess I didn't. I forgot. I wanted to share. As I was thinking about it and thinking back to the beginning of this year, it was January of this year that we had our first general membership meeting, and now we've done 4 of them, and our working groups, we didn't just I'd say the my it's not like one particular highlight, but just seeing kind of like the growth of the Food Policy Council and the things that we've been able to accomplish this year, from hosting all those general membership meetings and kind of learning and adapting those as we went, and starting the working groups and seeing those start to take shape, and now bringing in new members to our leadership team. There's been a lot that we've done this year, and it's nice to be able to look back and appreciate all that. So, all right. That being said, let me quickly share my screen again, and we can look back at the agenda. So, it does not appear we have anyone from the public here for public comment. So we'll move right on to approval of our November meeting minutes. I'll just pull those up quickly here. So we did kind of a debrief on the the pause and SNAP benefits. Again, this meeting was the end of November, so the SNAP benefits had just been restored maybe a week or so prior. So we kind of discussed that, and where the state of things at that time, and what we kind of learned through that process. A few working group updates, and a few other updates, about the leadership team seats, about the general membership meeting, and then we kind of ended with a conversation about planning for next year, and thinking about doing a food systems plan, or a kind of more of a strategic plan for the Food Policy Council, and it seemed like we were coalescing more around that idea of a strategic plan next year. And yeah, those are the meeting minutes. Sorry that I got them out later than usual this time, but anyone have questions or comments on the meeting minutes? All right, not seeing any. Let's vote to approve the November meeting minutes. All those in favor? Thumbs up. All right. Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. I think I got hands or thumbs or verbal votes from everyone there. Okay, so then I can do a few quick working group updates. Our network development working group, we have been working on our resource guide, and last time we met, we kind of helped define the outline of it a little more, some of the criteria that we have, and fill in some more of the content. We then also said that it's an interactive guide, right? It's not something that's going to be fixed. So we said we could probably start sharing it with a few people to get some feedback, and kind of see what people think about it. So I know I sent it out to a handful of people, and a few people got back to me, and the feedback was mostly positive. I did want to pull it up here, and so we could take a look at it for folks who haven't seen it yet. Again, we're using Padlet. We're trying that out. So this is kind of, again, what we were discussing last time was, this first post here kind of explains all of the different categories that that we have on the resource board, and kind of what information is supposed to go in them. And then as you scroll across, there are the different categories. And so with each one, you can add plenty of posts of information. And so we're starting to see like some of the people, again, that I mentioned that I shared it with, are starting to add some of their resources here, which is great. It's exactly kind of how we're hoping to be able to use it. So yeah, I will share the link in a follow-up email. So, the hope again is that folks on the leadership team, you all can take a look and see, are there other categories that you think need to be added? Do you have other content that you can add underneath some of these existing categories? It's also, you can comment if, I don't know, for example, this farmer's market flyer, if you were farmer's market manager and you're like, hey, this, the hours for our market change, can you update this? That's, again, the kind of interactive component of it here. So, yeah, wanted to pull that up and share it. I think next time that we meet as a working group, we'll probably talk a little bit more about kind of the timeline for when, again, it's not like it's going to be officially done, but when we want to do kind of a something that we share it out more widely and try and get some more attention on it or to it. Yeah. Anyone have any thoughts, questions about or the resource guide, the resource board here?
I was just going to mention that we've had a couple of new people post things to it, so that was exciting to see.
Yeah. All right. Well, if there are no other comments on that, we can move on to the food security awareness campaign. So we had a good meeting earlier in the month. We, again, I think had been kind of our first few meetings. We've been trying to kind of establish more of the foundation of, what are the goals, what are the key messages, what is the audience, all of that. And so our last meeting, we started to brainstorm what's the name for the campaign going to be. We have a few good options. We're going to be sending that out in like a poll so folks can vote, and we can hopefully land on a name for the campaign soon. And then we started brainstorming kind of strategies for getting the message out. We talked about different things like, well, I guess we had, said we're going to have a website. We're going to have, there's going to be some kind of social media component to the campaign. And then there's kind of lots of other things that we could do. We talked about making yard signs that could be available, again, with the kind of name of the campaign and maybe a space to write in the particular pantry or organization or place that you kind of are supporting. We also talked about billboards, the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board. Is that the right name of that organization? That's something they have a connection to. So they shared some information as a follow-up about pricing and location for different billboards that they have access to. And so, yeah, we'll continue, again, to finalize the name for the campaign, and then think about some more of these strategies, and also start to build out the timeline for that one a little bit more. I can't remember if Shannon or Carla or if anyone else was at our last meeting, if there's anything else that you'd want to add about that. Or yeah, if anyone else has, again, questions or comments.
I mean, I left the meeting feeling very energized about the potential for this working group. I mean, just seeing how much the community turned out when SNAP was in the newspaper made me think that, what might we be able to do with some billboards or what might we be able to do with some social media messaging. I felt very energized. And I thought lots of people brought really wonderful ideas.
Yeah, it was an energizing meeting. But yeah, sorry, Carla, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, I feel like that is going to be like a really, really influential way to get the information out that's going to not just draw people, but funding and everything else that's needed to help us serve the community. I know at Share, like we've done a lot of different billboards, and we've been on top of the Pico Center. That the amount of donations and just information sharing that has happened because of that has been incredible. So much so that now we're like, okay, how do we kind of keep this momentum going based off of being able to advertise in different ways of what's happening with our vulnerable populations? So I'm looking forward to this happening here in our county.
Great. Thanks, Carla. Anyone else? Thoughts, questions? Okay. All right, so we can move on to the Farmer Development Working Group. Our last meeting, we talked about kind of planning for an event that would help, I think, both kind of build interest in the mentorship program we've been talking about, and also kind of assess a little bit, again, kind of how much interest there would be. So there is a conference that through PASA Sustainable Agriculture that's in early February. And so we decided we should plan to do it kind of shortly after that. So in kind of the second half of February is when we're thinking about hosting this event. Brainstorm some locations and kind of have a good outline for the agenda for that. I think probably going to have like a panel highlighting a few essentially examples of successful mentor-mentee relationships. So we can, talk about what has worked well, give concrete examples of kind of the benefits of those kind of relationships. And then again, have some kind of discussion, for folks attending about what they would want out of a mentorship program, what they would want it to look like, what questions or concerns they would have, things that can inform how we set it up, and again, hopefully build some interest in it. So again, next time we meet in January, we'll probably be just trying to fine tune some of the details for the event, and then start the promotion and outreach to try and get folks to attend. I think that conference that I mentioned in early February probably be putting together a flyer or something like that, so we can hopefully get some interested folks there. Yeah, I think that's all on that one. Again, anyone have thoughts, questions, comments? All right. I always like to, just give a slightly longer pause on Zoom in case people are trying to find the mute button or whatever. Yeah, I felt like kind of across all of the working groups, things have been, I don't say like a little bit more stagnant previously, and I felt like through our last we've all kind of been in similar places through the last round of meetings. It was like, okay, things are moving forward, things are a little bit more clear in the direction that we're going in. So it was good to see that kind of across the board. Okay, so two other updates to share here. One, in terms of our new leadership team members, obviously kind of talked about that before with Dr. Ross being here. Nicole Amelia is our other new leadership team member who will be joining us in January. She's the school food director at the Norristown Area School District, so really excited to have her on board. Um, yeah, that was all just approved yesterday at the commissioners meeting. Um, so so yeah, there's that update. And then I wanted to follow up. Last time we talked a good amount about kind of resiliency planning and kind of in a couple of different ways, right? Whether it was about specifically kind of the SNAP response and kind of the charitable food system and kind of planning there, or also coordinating, across different, whether it's county departments or just kind of issue areas. I think we talked about the overlap between kind of housing and education and food security and all of those things. Um, so as a follow up from that, had a few kind of conversations after our last meeting and between this one. So I think for our next core community council meeting, this is something Shannon and I had talked about. Um, uh, we are going to be working with in the Office of Public Health. There's a team of the emergency preparedness. It's public health emergency preparedness. I was trying to remember the acronym there. And they do a number of things. One of them is after kind of a public health incident, they do a after action review. And so we are going to be working with them to essentially do an after action review at the next core community council meeting with kind of the full network there to assess kind of what works in terms of the response to the pause and SNAP benefits, what didn't work, what are things that we can improve on, if there are future disruptions or future cuts, things like that. So we'll be meeting with them soon to kind of talk through what that will look like, and then I think that core community council meeting will probably be February of next year. So that's kind of one follow up that is more again just kind of specific to the kind of food system, charitable food system planning, and then still kind of in conversation about what some of the other kind of cross issue area planning efforts would look like. Particularly with kind of new leadership within Health and Human Services, and then also, needing to coordinate more with Davey and the sustainability plan that's upcoming, and with some of the other planning efforts from the Planning Commission. So, but did want to share that update. Yeah, again, I guess I'll also pause here and see if there are any thoughts or questions or comments.
I think everyone did a really wonderful job in responding to the SNAP crisis. I know it was very hard for the pantry system and for the food banks here in Montgomery County, and I think people just did a wonderful job responding. I think there's an opportunity, especially because we have such a multi-stakeholder system, and there are so many different pantries and so many different food banks and so many different government entities to do some sort of some collaborative planning together to in case there's another round, which seems not impossible. Because I think it went really well, and I think there's also an opportunity to maybe strengthen for next time.
Yeah, thanks, Shannon. I agree with that assessment and the kind of opportunity I think starting with at the core community council and then seeing kind of who are the other stakeholders that we want to bring in to continue with that process and that effort. All right. Well, if there are no other thoughts there, then can move to a debrief from our general membership meeting. So again, I think this was it was just last week, last Thursday, the 11th, was at Boyd's Cardinal Hollow Winery in the Lansdale area. And yeah, overall, I thought the meeting went well. We had about 30 people attend. We did a good kind of needs and offerings activity. We were asking people, what things they need, what things they have that they can offer, and we got. I have them next to me here, the lists of things that, on the big chart paper that folks wrote. We had, kind of good participation and engagement with that activity. There were a few things that kind of like concrete things that came up, in the meeting that I was like, oh, like you need this. I was just talking to someone earlier today that can provide that. Like, let me connect you. Um, um, yeah, or like, oh, I'd love to talk to you more about this thing that you can offer. So those, again, that's I think really a goal of of those general membership meetings is to create those kind of connections. So I think that activity was successful in doing that. And then we heard from a few speakers, yeah, just about kind of the work that they're doing. Again, highlighting opportunities for partnership and engagement through their work. Yeah, some other things. Those are kind of the main crux of the meeting, though. Yeah, I guess I know a number of folks here from the leadership team were able to attend. So, yeah, does anyone want to share their thoughts or feedback from the meeting? Yeah, Bree, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to second the like what you were talking about in terms of like really fostering connections between people. I thought the meeting was really effective at that. There was a lot of time to connect and share, and people were like shifting tables and moving seats and like, oh, you wrote this. I'm thinking about that, and there was just like a lot of organic connections that were made, and it seemed really, really interactive. So I thought that was a really fantastic kind of tone that was set, and that I think the activity really made that possible. But I mean, I said that I was looking for internship placements, and I had like a line of people waiting to talk to me, and it was just like I feel like everywhere I go, I talk about the need for internship placements, and people are like, yeah, yeah, but it was really effective. So I thought it was awesome.
Great. Thanks, Bree. I'm glad to hear that. Hopefully, I'll have some good internship placements as a result of it.
I mean, I have no shortage of people to follow up with.
Yeah, good, good.
And it was cool to be in a like a local business too, like, and that does unique things with food. Like people around me were like, "Oh, this is cool." Like, I didn't know this was here, and it like I thought that was a nice touch too. Like that was, I don't think we have to have every meeting at the same place, but it was really neat to do that one time.
Yeah, definitely got a lot of good feedback on the venue.
Mhm.
I think someone who was there went and scheduled a meeting at the venue while they were there because they liked it as well. So yeah, Juliana, were you gonna jump in?
Sorry. No, I was gonna say the venue, I think they're very nice to give some compliment of food for us, and the food was delicious. And I think because of the winery, it just made the place more easy and relaxed for people just to mingle and talk and network. So I think it was a great meeting too.
Great, thanks. Yeah, I think that's true. The setting kind of helped maybe with some of the like organic connections that Bree mentioned. Anyone else thoughts who was able to attend? Thoughts on the meeting?
Can I say one more thing? Which like I think that just reaffirmed the like all in-person meetings are really good at bringing people together. Like I think that was really solid evidence for keeping it to an in-person format instead of hybrid. Because I missed the last in-person only meeting, but before that I had been to one that was hybrid and it was like it just didn't feel as generative. So I would put that in the positive evidence column.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. And I did get some feedback just via email from someone. Sorry, I'm gonna stop my screen share here for a sec so I can pull that up. Um, who is saying like, would really love to stay connected and stay involved in these general membership meetings, but like they're difficult for me to get to. Like, are there any other ways for participation? And I said, not right now, but I appreciate the question and the feedback, and I can bring it back to the leadership team and we can talk about it. So yeah, she asked if the meetings are recorded, if there's a way to watch them and submit questions, or do meetings at night instead of during kind of business hours. Those are some of the suggestions that she had for ways to kind of make them more accessible. So yeah, was curious if anyone else had thoughts about ways to kind of, I think again, I would agree with Bree that keeping them kind of only in person, I think is important. And if there's a way to figure out uh, opportunities for people who aren't able to join to still kind of connect or get updates in some way. Yeah, curious if anyone has thoughts, ideas about that.
Sam, couldn't anyone can come to these meetings too, right? So like even if you can't make the general membership meetings, these are always open to the public and there's always a streaming option. Like you can always attend virtually. So I would say like that's another way to get involved always. And I would also like, I know we're going to talk about potentially having a general membership meetings committee, but thinking about how we move equitably through the county so that it's like not so far for any person every single time, and thinking about like when to schedule the meetings so that they're not always on the same day at the same time, I think could really help as well. So, maybe there are some evening meetings. It's not every meeting is the evening meeting, but like thinking about how to like shift things around so that most people are able to come at least sometime if they can go somewhere in person.
Yeah, thanks, Bree. I think that's a good suggestion, about kind of shifting. We'll definitely be looking to shift meeting location, but shifting meeting times and trying to make some yeah, at least one or so in the evening to make it more accessible that way.
And for people who want to stay connected too, I guess I would just add like the watching a recording of that meeting would not necessarily do anything for you. It would be watching other people kind of like socialize. And so if they're wanting like updates about what the Food Policy Council is doing, then there are a lot of other good ways to connect. And so like just being clear, like the purpose of these meetings is really to, build relationships with other people. And so like if you're not able to make it to this meeting, we really hope you'll be able to make it to the next one. But here are X, Y, and Z ways, including sharing the Padlet to stay up to date on opportunities and news from the Food Policy Council.
Right, right. Yeah, Davey, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to chime in. I second the idea of having meetings in the evening just because I know people who have day jobs, can't take time off as easily to come to those meetings. But I just a question just about these meetings in general. I don't know how often the in-person ones, like the one last Wednesday, are held. I unfortunately didn't have that one on my calendar, so I missed it entirely. But is there a change of frequency that could help? But I'm not quite sure how often they're held.
Yeah, they're quarterly right now, and so to me that still feels like a good cadence, but it's definitely something we could think about. If or when we would want to try and I don't know, do them bi-monthly instead of quarterly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I not to change the cadence. I just maybe one quarter you're, during like that 3 or 4 o'clock hour, and then one quarter you're at 6 o'clock or something like that.
Right. Yeah, we've done a little bit, like I think our previous one in September was at like 10. So we've done some, in this one, because it was the happy hour, it was 3 to 4:30. We haven't done a night meeting yet though, so I think that would be a good thing to try. I mean, I'd say that the attendance was pretty consistent, whether we were at 10 a.m. or 3 p.m. We had about 30 people both times. So yeah, I think it's definitely worth trying an evening meeting, at least one, and then again, depending on maybe we'd get a lot more people turning out, and then say like, okay, well maybe these should be 2 or 3 of these should be evening meetings. Uh, but yeah, agree with the feedback that it's worth trying at least one to see how it goes.
Good. And I recommend if you're looking for a new spot next time, I recommend the Weaver's Way in Ambler. They have a really nice sort of sectioned off area where you can hold a meeting, and obviously access to really good food and good food practices by the Weaver's Way as well. I held a meeting there one evening for my old organization. It was very successful. So want to just flag that for future.
Nice, thanks for the suggestion. I feel like we're always kind of brainstorming different meeting venues, and I need to just like make an actual list, and so we can not have to like do the same work every time. But yeah, it's a great suggestion. Yeah, one thing I had been wondering about, like through the newsletter, we don't really kind of give updates about like the working groups and kind of the same information that's shared at these meetings and at the general membership meetings um, uh, isn't really shared in the newsletter. So I know I've seen other food policy councils do things like put out kind of like a quarterly report. It's just kind of like a 1 or 2 page update on basically what's happened the quarter. Is kind of the same content that would be in that would be shared during kind of the updates at the beginning of those general membership meetings. So I was thinking about that as another kind of way of sharing more information, but I hadn't thought about the fact, as you mentioned, Bree, that these meetings are available for people to. I mean, the fact that they're from 10 to 11:30 means if someone can't if someone has a day job, and can't come to a general membership meeting, they're likely not to be able to come to this meeting. But they are streamed and they're available online, so so folks would be able to watch those afterwards and submit questions. Um, um, yeah, and I'll kind of think about the quarterly report and if that's something that would be easy to then put together and put out in the newsletter. Yeah. Anyone else? Any other kind of ideas about ways to make those meetings a little bit more accessible, or thoughts on kind of general membership meetings overall?
I guess one other thing that I was thinking of, like it was really fun having it at the winery. But I was thinking Ursinus is a recovery friendly workplace. And so I'm attentive to the idea that like having meetings at places that serve alcohol, at least on a frequent basis, um, might be challenging for some. So just being attentive to like where we're holding things so that we're not systematically kind of making alcohol a part of the meetings for people who might be in recovery.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thanks, Bree. All right. Well, then just have kind of one other item on our agenda for this morning, which, as Bree mentioned earlier, is about kind of establishing two new committees. This is something we had talked about in our executive committee. Yeah, so the two committees we were thinking about was kind of coming off of the conversation we were just having, a general membership meeting planning committee, and then also a committee focused on policy. So I'll share a little bit about kind of what we were thinking for each of them. first. So for the general membership meeting planning, again, it'd be a lot of the things that we were just talking about. So mapping out kind of at the beginning of the year, like how are we going to rotate these meetings throughout the county? What are the different places where we want to hold them, maybe which ones are going to be at different times. Going back to that, as of yet created list of potential meeting venues and kind of identifying all that, and really just helping with kind of the planning, the logistics of getting all those meetings set up and developing the agendas as well. I think, just trying to shift some of basically some of the, I've kind of been doing all of that work to set up and plan and organize the general membership meeting. So just trying to shift some of that work so that, members of the leadership team can help in putting those together as well. And then the other committee on policy, I think, is a little bit more amorphous, but the idea would be to do two things. One is kind of research to stay kind of up to date on policy developments at the state and federal level. Again, I kind of do that somewhat passively, but having some folks who are more interested in really keeping, as a group, our leadership team up to date and aware of things that are happening in Harrisburg and DC, I think would be helpful. And then also thinking about kind of county level policy that we could try and advance. So if there are particular things that again, that through the county we can try and influence coming up with proposals and ideas, and then bringing them, back to this group, to our leadership team to discuss and kind of determine what a path forward would be like there. So those are the two groups that we were thinking about starting. And the way what we had talked about was also, as the executive committee, we had said that would be kind of reassessed annually. So we were thinking that after our next meeting and annually, kind of on a calendar year timeframe. So after our next meeting in January, we'll probably send out kind of a poll for folks on the leadership team to say, if you want to serve on the executive committee, if you want to serve on the general membership meeting committee or the policy committee, or if you just want to be on the leadership team and you don't want to kind of get into, you don't have bandwidth or aren't interested in any of those, that's an option too. These aren't kind of requirements. But yeah, so then folks could kind of rank their level of interest and involvement in those different committees, and then hopefully we'd be able to match folks, align them with one of their top choices for those different committees. I think that I would plan to send out kind of more of a description of the committees and time expectation and role and all of that, so you guys could have a little bit more something to look at and think about and decide. But yeah, that's kind of something, again, Bree and Shannon and I had discussed and wanted to share it with the group here and see if anyone had thoughts, questions, or feedback.
I'm excited to be on the policy committee.
Great. Yeah, Anne, were you gonna jump in too?
I would just encourage you to cast a wide net to populate committees. I feel like the executive committee, the leadership team here, has a lot of committee assignments. I just want to make sure that we don't burn ourselves out on mini subcommittee work too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's, we're trying to kind of figure out the balance there. But appreciate the feedback and the suggestion, and could certainly, invite others to join either of those. All right. Well, yeah, if no one has other comments or questions about that, again, I'll kind of follow up with like a description about each of those, and then we can see, if we send out a poll for folks to say which things they're interested in, and everyone says, to Anne's point, like committeed out, not interested in serving on any of these committees, then obviously we will reassess and see if there's a better time or way to go about those. Yeah, I think there are ideas that we've kind of talked about before, and different times and in different ways, and just felt like, all right, well, let's try it and let's see how it goes now. So. Okay, well, if that's it, then I think we're gonna end up wrapping pretty early today. Just have some kind of announcements before we wrap up. So I think I had shared this with everyone here, but the Pennsylvania Food Policy Council is doing another kind of gathering of food policy councils from across the state at the farm show this year. It's going to be Friday, January 16th, I think is the date. Yeah, I think a number of us, myself and Anne and Shanita and Juliana, all went last year. I'm helping to kind of plan the event this year. And yeah, I think it's going to be good. Similar to general membership meetings, as talking about planning, and as we've been planning it, talking about kind of trying to make opportunities for folks to be able to connect and network and learn from each other at the event. So that'll be kind of a focus. I think Secretary Redding is hopefully going to attend, maybe some others from other kind of state offices to share some updates and information as well. So would encourage folks to attend that. And then, yeah, again, one thing we had talked about before is doing kind of a retreat for the leadership team, as we get our new members onboarded, thinking that April will probably be a good time to schedule that. So, we still a ways away, but we'll be probably sending out, a scheduling thing sometime in the new year to try and make sure we can get that on our calendars sometime in early April. I think that's all I have. Does anyone else have any other announcements, updates, things that they want to share with the group? It's a quiet group this morning. It's the end of the year. It's a rainy day. It's a Friday. It's all good.
Yes.
Um,
Nothing from me, but I'm just glad to be part of the Food Policy Council, and look forward to collaborating and working with all of you. Thank you, and have a blessed holiday.
Yeah, thanks so much, Dr. Ross. Really glad to have you here, and looking forward to working with you. All right. Well, if no one has anything else to share, then then we'll wrap up. Thanks, everyone. Again, hope everyone enjoys their holidays, some downtime at the end of the year here, and looking forward to reconnecting in the new year.
Sam, can you hang on for once? I have a quick question for you.
Sure.
Just
Yeah.
whenever we hang up.
Yep.
Bye, everyone. Happy holidays.
All right. Bye-bye.
Happy holidays,
Happy
everyone.
holidays, everyone.
Good holidays. Yes, thank you.
Caitlin, is there any way to end the live stream?
Yeah, I was just gonna say if you hit, actually, do you see in the top right where it says Facebook?
Yeah.
You should be able to hit that drop down.